Yeah, so Matt and I have just been talking a little bit about cross-training with bicycles. Do you train more to feel?
Yeah. You can't get that feeling until you've done all the work beforehand to like trigger it.
Yeah, gunshots off in the background. Great way to start the video. So we're here with Matt and Rees this morning. We are doing the final training session before next week's 24-hour relay attempt.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm excited. Bit nervous, bit of a strange challenge, 24 hours, but yeah, I'll be doing 6 hours with 3 hours, an hour on, 3 hours off, times 6 basically. So a difficult one to gauge what sort of intensity and pace to do that at, but looking forward to it.
Has there been any different sort of training that you've put in for it?
I think with this, I wanted to get fit, but I also wanted to condition my legs, because I think it's not really the fitness that's going to be the issue, or the fueling, because you've got the time in between. It's going to be the fatigue in the legs. So I've done some like longer 3-hour training runs. Yesterday I practiced an hour on, 3 hours off, an hour on, only twice, but just to see if I can get the fueling right and if I can get every aspect of the intensity right. So yeah, I think it's going to be the fatigue in the legs building up rather than the actual intensity of each hour. And
would you like to tell our viewers a little bit more about you, how you got involved in the Salomon project, maybe, but before that, what is your running background? You're training for Rotterdam at the moment.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm training for Rotterdam and this event, so hopefully I'll pull up alright from the 24-hour event and then try and run a PB in Rotterdam 5 weeks later. I am a marathoner by trade, not an elite guy, just a sub-elite sort of runner. Absolutely love the marathon distance, but also love just getting on the trails and just training in the forest where I'm from. So my PB's 2:29 for the marathon, but I'm hoping to run closer to 2:24 in Rotterdam. And yeah, love running, love the roads, love the trails, love it all really.
Sweet. Matt runs his own YouTube channel called The Welsh Runner.
Yeah.
We actually met each other in Kenya not that long ago. He was there for a week or two.
Yeah. Oh, amazing place. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
So good.
And then obviously the Salomon event in a week's time, that's sort of as a release for the new Phantasm shoes.
Yeah, so these are the shoes. They're Phantasm, S-Lab Phantasm CF. So they've got a composite plate in them. It's like the Salomon road super shoe. And yeah, I love them. They're really smooth to run in. You really feel the pop of the plate, and you've got some good cushioning, and they're super light as well. So I'm really looking forward to running the event in these. I've done loads of training runs in these now, so I've got another pair for the actual event. Yeah, they're quick. So yeah, quick and smooth, which is how I like it.
Awesome. And these are completely different from the previous Phantasms.
Yeah, so they brought a Phantasm out last year, which were much more like a traditional road racing flat, where you can feel the ground a bit more, and they had no plate. Whereas this is a completely different animal. This has got a plate in, it's got that stack, it's got the cushioning, and yeah, you just feel like it's got a nice rocker in there, and it just feels like you can clip along in a smooth way, fast, and you don't really feel the road either.
Today's session, what are we up to?
Yeah, so we're only about a week out before the event, so a little less volume than I normally do for a marathon type session. Going to do 6 times 2k on with 1k float. We'll do the 2k on a bit quicker than marathon pace, but not too fast. Close to like that anaerobic threshold, and then try and float at an honest pace. I'll do it to feel slower than marathon pace, but hopefully the average will come to roughly my goal marathon pace. So yeah, a nice 18k of volume. Nothing too tasty, but something to keep ticking over, with Rotterdam in mind as well as the Salomon event.
Sweet. How are the legs feeling after yesterday's double day?
So they've got to get used to the fatigue, so yeah, they're feeling alright. We'll see when we get out there.
Warm up normally? What do you look at doing?
When I'm coming here, I normally just do a whole loop, which is like 3 miles. So yeah, probably just do that.
you'll notice that I work in miles and Ks. I mix it up.
You can switch between them freely?
I'm more of a miles man, but I end up doing loads of session in Ks, so it's a bit of a weird one. I'm definitely more comfortable in miles, but sometimes when you're doing 2K, there isn't a mile that works. What do you work in, Ks?
Yeah, definitely kilometers. Definitely kilometers. Have you met the rest of the team? I mean, you met up once, but do you know them quite well?
Yeah, I've only met them once. We were hoping we'd get some training runs done together, but it just hasn't worked out. They seem like a good bunch, and I think that camaraderie on the day is going to be massive. Like, I love team events. In running, we do so much running for ourselves. It's pretty cool to be part of a team.
I think there's going to be quite a big vibe at the stadium as well.
I hope so. I hope there's a bit of an atmosphere.
I'm just excited for the beer and pizza after.
The only reason you're here, isn't it?
Yeah. So Matt and I have just been talking a little bit about cross training with bicycles and indoor trainers. You got a story for us?
It's really like great aerobic benefit and non-impact. And I was saying that I was speaking to Steve Way, who's the British 100k record holder, and when he was at his peak, he was doing loads of miles running, but now he does loads on the bike. And talking to him, he was saying how he would do it differently now. He would do lots of running, but he would top up loads on the bike if he was going for those records again. So it's interesting hearing it from him, who was an advocate of lots of miles.
Yeah. So just past the marathon pace, what's that going to look like today?
So it'll be done to feel, but I'm hoping that it'll be like 5:15 to 5:20 per mile. So like 3:16 to like 3:20 per K, and then hopefully float at about 6 minutes per mile, which is what, like 3:45, 3:46. But it'll be done to feel. I just feel it out. As long as I get the right effort in and back the right work, then I'm happy.
Do you train more to feel?
Yeah.
Effort
like, I've set myself a goal marathon time, kind of, but in reality I'm just training and hoping my goal gets lower and lower. I'll just try and get as fit and strong as I can for the marathon, and then see on the day how it feels.
Okay. You also do running coaching, hey?
Yeah.
Are you self-coached, or do you have someone else who does your program?
I've been coached in the past, but I just love coaching, so I find it difficult to hand over the control. I love trying. I like experimenting with my body and seeing how it responds to training. And only I can really do that. Right. Yeah, let's start.
Hell yeah.
So, first 2K are about 5:17 a mile. So what? 3:17, 3:18 a K? So yeah, exactly where I want it.
Legs feeling good after yesterday?
We'll see on the later reps.
How would you describe the difference between a float like this and, say, an off in a fartlek where you're going a lot slower?
These floats, I don't want them to be too far away from marathon pace. I want them to feel like a steady pace. So I want to be recovering, but still working. The way I see it is honest running. So just keep it honest in the float. Whereas in a fartlek, I'd really back off and jog to recover. Okay, next one now. $3.70 the K again.
Hitting that goal perfectly.
Yeah.
So, can you tell me a bit about the record that you guys are going for?
So yeah, it's a relay. There's 2 guys, 2 girls on the team. And to be honest, we're trying to set a record for other people to go and break. So we want to go as far as we can.
Okay.
So, obviously, Alexander Sorokin has done 24 hours. I think he went 309K. But it's very different, one guy going for 24 hours and a team of 4. So I'd like to think we would break that by a long way and put down a really good marker for someone else to come out and try and do. Right, back to go. This is a nice one because I get a downhill start.
Hell yeah. This lake is cool.
That's not a lake.
River?
Like an estuary, so there's a river, yeah.
Okay.
It leads into a river.
Poor geography.
It's the river that separates England and Wales. So when you go over that bridge, you go from Wales into England. I should probably focus on the running.
Do it.
$3.17 again.
Nailing it. Consistency. Dude, the grass looks so ridiculously green. And pace for your hour laps at the...
So it'll be to feel. I will put a heart rate monitor on. Not to run to heart rate, but to check in on it, basically. But I'm thinking it's going to be difficult. It's going to be really hard to not get carried away early on. But I'm thinking between 6 and 6.20 per mile, maybe. I don't know. I might get carried away and feel good on the day, I don't know. But I want those first 3 hours to tick by with no drama. Solid hours, and hopefully feel okay going into the last 3 hours.
Awesome. So your float pace now is just a little bit quicker than what you hope to do every hour.
So float pace now is about 6 flat pace per mile. I'm thinking a little bit slower than this is maybe reasonable for 6 hours with breaks.
Okay. $3.18.
Yeah.
Oh man. Where'd that 1 second go?
I felt that when I was pinching.
You expecting it to get considerably harder to maintain?
From the way I'm feeling, yeah. Definitely feel that one pinch. Feel the lactate in my legs starting to not clear as quickly. But this is the part of the session that really counts, is trying to work through that uncomfortable stage. If it got considerably harder, I'd consider just calling it a 5, but we'll see how 5 goes first. I don't like to predict how I'm going to feel, just find out first.
Sure. How do you determine the volume of your workouts?
With marathon stuff, I try and build the volume, like try and do more and more volume at marathon pace. This is faster than marathon pace, so I'll do a little less volume of it, but with the float it's still fairly decent. This session will turn into 6 by 3k off the K,
Okay.
Trying to hit the same sort of intensity, but with the event next week, I didn't want to do anything too big.
So you take a session like this and build it up by volume instead of by pace?
Yeah. It'll be done to feel, so if the pace is faster at the same feel, then great, I'm fitter, but it's about building the volume and trying to extend that speed.
How was that last one?
Wasn't pretty, wasn't pretty.
Oh.
And this is the reality of sessions, like, yes, this could have gone like a dream. It hasn't, but that's training for you. So, nailed the first few splits, faded on the fourth, faded on the fifth. But I've got a rule, always take your recovery or your float or whatever it is before you decide whether to call a session. So I'm gonna take this K float, and to be honest, I'm feeling like I'm recovering. Ready to go one more time. Last one, let's go. Whew. And we're done.
Good stuff.
Cheers, mate. Oh. That hurt, but good fun.
Glad you jumped on the last one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Felt alright.
Like, it was a bit slower, but I feel better mentally for doing it. And it's that, it reminds me, it's that feeling of grinding out the last 2K in a marathon. And I love that feeling. Despite avoiding it sometimes in training, you do love it.
Yeah.
And you can't get that feeling until you've done all the work beforehand to like trigger it. So you can't go out on a run and feel that hanging on feeling unless you put the work in. So if I hadn't done the last rep, I wouldn't have had that feeling, and I'd be disappointed now, but really happy with the run. Actually, like, yes, I faded, but really happy to bank that a week out from the Salomon event. Feeling fit, legs are really tired, but I've got some time to freshen them up now.
Sweet. Next week gonna be super chilled?
Yeah, I'll do some like 200s or some strides on probably Tuesday, but all easy running now.
Sweet.
Just relax into it, freshen the legs up. This week has been almost like an overreaching week for me. I had a big Tuesday, big Thursday, and today's Friday, and another session, so it's all chilled out now. But it's really good feeling having the work banked.
Okay, sweet. We just got back from our cool down run.
Good chat.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
Almost 5Ks.
Yeah.
So in total, today's volume?
About 27K.
Decent.
Yeah.
Decent.
Not bad.
Sweet.
It's been a big week actually so far, so time to rest up, easy run, and freshen the legs up for next week.
Awesome. You mentioned these shoes earlier. These are also Salomon shoes, but they're quite interesting.
Yeah, these are really cool. These are like a sustainable shoe, so every part of this shoe is then broken down. You send them back when you finish with them, and they get put into like pellets, and then they make ski boots out of them. So it's just like a fully recyclable shoe. So it's not like a fast shoe, it's like a daily shoe, just comfortable. But all of this is just like built with being sustainable and recyclable in mind. So there's no waste, and they make ski boots out of it, which is pretty cool.
Amazing.
My issue is that I really like wearing them, so I haven't sent them back yet.
And then my last question is simply related to Kenya, because I'm interested in that. Was there anything you saw there or experienced there that changed how you approach or think about or run your training?
So much. Like, for me, the main takeaway from Kenya was the mindset. Like, just such a positive attitude there. Like, everyone was just working hard and supporting each other. And you leave Kenya, when you're out there, you just get this huge belief in yourself. And I've like carried that forward into my training. But the other aspect is not to neglect the hills. Like, I would like look for flatter routes, but now I'm just out on the trails, hitting the hills, and just thinking, you know, Indy 10, every route is undulating or hilly, and yeah, that's a massive part of my training now. So I've done loads of like slower running, not looking at my watch, just getting strong on the hills, and it's starting to pay off on the flat as well, so it's good.
Awesome. Sweet, well, real pleasure to see you again, Matt.
Thank you very much.